Welcome to Epic Begins with One Step Forward, the podcast that reveals how to plan, achieve, and enjoy the journey of creating epic results in your life, business, health, and relationships. Here's your host, best-selling author and motivational speaker, Xander Sprague.
Hello, Epic people, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Epic Begins with One Step Forward. I'm your host, Xander Sprague, and boy, do I have an epic guest for you today. I've got Rand Timmerman with me. Rand, tell us a little about who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm a retired attorney right now, but I grew up in upstate New York, not too far from where I am right now. Went into the Marine Corps in 1966. My younger brother, Ron, went into the Army. We both fought in Vietnam. We both enlisted. And I came back. They made me an officer. Actually, I was a temporary officer in Vietnam. Lieutenants didn't last too long in that environment. And they gave me the option. I could go back to corporal or I could go to OCS and be an officer. So I up for another 3 years and became an officer, and they sent me to the Judge Advocate General School.
Nice.
And I ended up being a military lawyer, probably the last one that did not have even a college education.
Wow.
A lot later on. But anyway, it gave me a path in life after my military service, and I married while I was in the military, moved to Syracuse, New York, and went to Syracuse University and got my BA and my law degree, and then launched from there.
Yep.
And my brother came back from Vietnam and married our mother's best friend, Edie, who was divorced with 7 children.
My. That must have had a little family drama there, Rand.
Oh, my God. I was so amazed. But yeah, Ronnie, next thing I know, he's back. He's riding around a convertible with our mother's best friend, and they get married, and they became Mormons. And he ended up with 27 grandchildren and 27 great-grandchildren when Edie passed in 2017.
Wow.
Yeah, she had a major stroke 6 years before that, and then she had it got worse, not better.
Yep.
And my brother took great care of her. He wouldn't let anybody else for 6 years. And he thought he was pretty well, able to handle it, but it was really hard for him. So I went to see him in January of 2018, and I could tell he was struggling really bad. And I said, "What are you going to do?" And he said, "I'm going to hike the Appalachian Trail." And my brain was screaming, well, that's real crazy. I had hiked parts of it in the Smoky Mountains and things, so I had a pretty good idea what it was like, some of it anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, we ended up hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Wow. So that's like over 2,000 miles, correct?
It's 2,190 miles. It goes over 600 mountains. 300 of them are named. It's 465,000. It's a quarter or a half of a million feet changes in elevation.
Oh my God, that's insane, Rand.
Going up and down. It's just crazy. It was amazing. It was very difficult. About 3 million people hike some part of the Appalachian Trail every year.
Definitely.
But between 2,500 and 3,000 try to actually do the whole thing.
Right.
And of that, about 17%. So we're down to like 450, 500 people a year that actually hike the Appalachian Trail, right? The whole way.
Right. Now, did you go south to north?
No.
Did you start down in Georgia and go up, or did you go from Maine down?
Well, we went to Springer Mountain, Georgia,
Yeah.
March 22nd, 2018, in a snowstorm, and started north.
There you go.
So we went from south to north. That's correct. Yeah.
Cool. And that's the way a lot of people do it, correct? Just because
most people
you have to start so early that if you're the Appalachian Trail, if my listeners don't know, ends in Maine. And obviously in the middle of March in Maine, in the mountains, likely to have impassable trails.
Yeah, they could still have snow up there in June.
Yeah.
That makes it really tough. Yeah, you know something about it, obviously. Yeah.
Well, I mean, having grown up on the East Coast, I'm aware. I know some other people who've done the whole trail, and To say the least, that is an epic journey, my friend.
Oh my God, you're so
I
right.
want to take a few minutes and talk about it, because when you guys started, and fair to say, you guys are mature hikers. Is that would that be safe to say?
Well, Ronnie, my younger brother, was 71.
Okay,
So I was 72. Yeah, that's, way out there. We would have been a lot better off if we'd done it in our 30s or 40s. Ronnie and I were both pretty good shape, though, actually. I ran 26 marathons during my adult years. I skied cross-country ski races all over North America most of my, adult life.
sure.
And Ronnie ran some marathons. He hiked all over the state of Utah. But to do it in your early 70s is like insane. It really is.
It is. I too have run. I haven't run as many marathons, but I too have run marathons and done some endurance sports, and so I get that. But there certainly, I'm finding, I'm not as old as you, but as I'm perhaps aging, that those physical feats take a lot more out of you and require a lot more kind of energy. So, really, kudos to you and your brother. When I was prepping for this, I got thinking about there's an entertaining movie, A Walk in the Woods, with
Robert Redford.
Robert Redford, and yeah,
Yeah, and the drunk, whatever his name was.
yeah.
Either.
And I'm desperately trying to come up with I could see his face. Anyway,
I can too. Yeah, there's that scene where he's got the whiskey bottle on the rock.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm a recovered alcoholic, so I can relate to that. I got
Sure.
sober almost 12 years ago.
Well, good for you.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
too is an epic journey, an ongoing journey.
It was. It was very difficult for me. Didn't really affect me till I got my early 60s, but then it really took over.
Sure.
If you're allergic to alcohol, you got a real problem. And it's a
Definitely.
physical thing. A lot of people don't realize that. I thought it was a lack of some kind of character strength or whatever, but it's really not. We know today that alcoholics metabolize alcohol differently, and we create an excess of what's called acetone.
Mhm.
And that's what gives the alcoholic that overwhelming physical addiction to the alcohol that I could be 2 or 3 days in and I'm just as thirsty, if not more, than I was when I started.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then you got the mental obsession. It's a very hard thing to break. Very hard thing.
Definitely. But so just going back to the movie and these two older gentlemen doing the same, doing the Appalachian Trail, looking at your experience and obviously what they depicted in the movie, were there some similarities in terms of, I mean, there were times where they were obviously exhausted, didn't make it as many miles as they had wanted when they started off. Did you find that was sort of the way it was, that you kind of had to get your hiking legs?
Yes, for sure. As a runner, you have to get in some kind of a groove at some point, and then you hit the wall. I hit the wall every day hiking the Appalachian Trail. We would leave at daybreak. My brother was like, go, 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 man.
Sure.
And we averaged 11 miles a day. We'd leave at daybreak and usually sometime in the afternoon. I would get so fatigued at the end of I fell down every day. I broke 4 hiking poles. We both used 2 poles. That's very
Right.
important to do. And usually in the afternoon, it would happen. I would get so fatigued and I would start to be stumbling around, which is. And the next thing I got a hiking pole between my legs, and I'm going down. I go, how did that get there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember coming down off of Killington in Vermont, and there had been 2 guys up there. They look like, the perfect hikers in their 40s, slim and lanky, and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Clint Eastwood tough type guys. And I left the top of the mountain before they did and came down. And I was almost to the end, maybe a mile from it, and I started that fatigue stagger around thing. And sure enough, I went flying, and I didn't realize it, but they're behind me. And I fell down in some rocks, and I heard one of them scream,
Oh,
"Oh
no.
my God, he's dead." They come running up, and they said, oh my God, we thought you were killed yourself. And I said, well, I managed to land. There was some grass. I landed in the only place I really could without getting
Exactly.
badly hurt. They're like, I can't believe you didn't. But it really wasn't funny. Yeah, I fell a lot. In fact, I fell down a rock slide on Wilcox Mountain in Massachusetts. On a rock slide, there's a rock slide right at the top of that mountain.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Oh yeah, and you come. So you like on that one, we started out early in the morning. It was a typical mountain. It's a earthen path. It starts out kind of easy, and it keeps getting steeper and steeper and steeper. And you're going up the mountain, and you're going around corners and stuff, and you keep thinking it's got to be right there. It's got to be right there, and you just keep going, and hours go by. And then when I got almost to the top, there's this rock slide, and if you even myself, I'm standing looking at. There's no way this trail goes up there. It did. So I'm scrambling over these boulders and rocks with my poles. I get within 10 feet of the top, and I started to fall. What I should have done is just fall forward.
Yep. But you fought it, didn't you, Rand?
Yeah, I'm a fighter, and I stabbed with one pole, and it skidded, and I stabbed with the other pole, and I flipped around 180 degrees, and I took a head dive right off that.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God, yes. So instead of falling 5 or 6 feet, I fell 15,
Yep.
and so I'm in a swan dive falling. I close my eyes because I'm thinking, and I was in Vietnam. I got used to being shot at and a lot of bad things happening and a lot of pain. But I closed my eyes thinking, this is going to hurt really, really bad. And then when I hit, and it's like, oh my, the sparks are flying. My brain is on fire and I'm sliding. And then my foot got caught between two rocks, and that's what stopped me.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, and I laid there for, I don't know, just waiting for the pain to a little bit subside and opened my eyes, and then I realized my foot had come down between two rocks, and it's kind of a V thing, and that's what caught me and stopped me. Otherwise, I probably would have not made it. But so then I was bloodied up pretty good, and I managed to turn around. I crawled to the top of the mountain and finally stood up, and I'm like, oh my God, I could not face the prospect of going back down.
Absolutely.
And I know I had to go another 9 miles, but I just turned and started walking. And eventually the pain just kind of turns into aches. Yeah, I don't know. You know how that goes if you're running.
Absolutely. And it's kind of like, with, running a marathon, you're at mile, 20, 22. Maybe you're getting a little crampy. Maybe your feet are absolutely on the bottom of your feet are on fire. But you're like, I have not come this far, not to get to that finish line. So
my brother usually hiked south, and I always hiked north. We had two vehicles, so we were flip flopping that way. And there's roads going over the Appalachian Trail everywhere, 10 to 15 miles. A lot of them are really lousy roads, dirt roads. So we had two vehicles. So that was a big plus for us. I like to brag that I slept in a tent every night on the Appalachian Trail, which was true. But my truck was, a lot of the time, my truck was right next to me.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, so you were.
That's how we did it. Yeah. So not always. I mean, there's, through the Smoky Mountains, you got 2 35-mile stretches. So we had to wear full pack. The Priest is another area with 40
So you guys were like, you'd have like your brother's car would be wherever you were going to stop for the night. And then you've got the car, got all of your tent, your food and all of that.
Right. Made it a lot easier. We used
definitely. And I assume that like during the day when you're hiking, you're obviously not hiking with a full on, 40-pound pack, that you've got more of a day pack kind of thing.
Right.
Cool.
Yep. I carried 2 24-ounce bottles of water because a lot of hikers don't carry enough water. And it's at the top of mountains, which is what you're on most of the time, right? It's very hard to get water. So I always carried extra water and a first aid kit. So my day pack weighed about 20 pounds. I had
right. But I'm saying you don't have, except for that part through the Smoky Mountains, you're not like, because you say, oh, I hiked the Appalachian Trail. In my mind, I'm like, oh, the two of you are with, big backpacks, and you're like, oh, here's where we're gonna camp, and you pitch your tent. You're like, oh, we made it here to this trailhead. Now we'll just camp next to the trailhead. So
Yeah. No, yeah, that's right.
cool. Cool.
Yeah, I
But
don't think
absolutely, water is, both you and I as runners know that you can get low on nutrition, but you get behind on water and your day's over.
yeah. It was, amazing. I took 5,000 pictures. I wrote a book about it, and I have 500 color pictures in that.
Wow.
It was amazing. My brother took hardly any pictures. My brother was doing the whole grief kinda head down, just doing it,
Yeah,
just feet flying. I was more about, "I'm never gonna walk this way again." Your program's about epic journey,
absolutely.
one first step. And in fact, in my book, this is the cover.
Yeah.
Back, I have one step at a time
Yeah.
because, a lot of days that's pretty much what it comes down to, one step at a time. Oh, I would fall down like I was talking about, and I would think, "Rand, nobody's shooting at you. What's your problem?
Yeah.
Get up, go." That kind of thing.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
and certainly there are, when doing a hike like that, one is let me just get it done. And the other is let me look around, right? I know I'm going to make it to wherever. I know I need to be there by 3 o'clock. Oh, wow. Look at that vista. Let me take a picture of that. So absolutely. I know I was fortunate to run the Mayor's Marathon in Alaska up in Anchorage. Yeah, it was spectacular. But I certainly was taking pictures because, like, I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to get back here and get back to this spot. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because I didn't know where I was, but I'm like, wow, look at that vista. Let me just whip out my phone and take a picture. And
That
I'm happy. I'm happy that I did. Look, maybe I added a couple of minutes to my marathon time. I didn't care. I'm like, am I here to enjoy it or just, try and finish the race? So
that's
absolutely. So for you, Rand, what were your sort of least favorite sections that you had on the trail? Because like anything, they're like, "Oh, I love this part," but this part really was maybe the weather wasn't good, maybe you didn't feel good, maybe it was
uh,
like I'm walking uphill for 8 days.
we prepped for doing it. I walked 8, 10 miles every day. I still walk 7. I'm 80 years old. I'm still walking 7 or 8 miles every day. But walking around here or being in the mountains is two different things.
Mm-hmm.
So I still average 2.5 miles an hour, 2.7.
Mm-hmm.
In the mountains, if you can do a mile and a half in an hour, you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, you kind of just focus in on that. The hardest time I had, the Smoky Mountains, so that one, I went south and Ronnie went north. We switched. So I went to Route 40 and started towards Clingman Stone, so on. It's rained and it was cloudy. Every day we were in the Smoky Mountains until the last day.
So you
I
guys
didn't
would pass each other?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought one of you was driving like you'd have one of your cars down where you
No,
began,
we
have
were all
another car up where I got it.
So when we got up in the morning, we had 2 vehicles.
Got it.
I would start north. Ronnie would drive around, usually down to a road in a valley, down the valley, and up to the next, usually on a dirt road.
Got it.
He came my way, and I came to his way.
Yeah.
Normally, he got to my truck before I got to his car. He had a car.
Yeah.
And he would drive around and then come back to where he had left his car, and we just stayed there that night.
Well, that would make sense. Either that or you'd still be out there just walking the
Yeah.
same trail again and again.
Ronnie slept in the shelter sometimes. I did not do that. We hiked a lot longer than most of the hikers.
Sure.
Most of they're younger. And, we'd have to pee a lot and
I
Ronnie, would sleep in this and they were all full. So
yeah.
yeah. And I always, in the tents, they always had the tent place underneath the line where you hang your food because of the bears. And
Yeah.
that made no sense to me.
Yeah. I'd like to be right under where the bears are coming, please.
So
Because
I
my
never did
tent
that.
will protect me. The
Yeah.
bear won't come through the tent.
So I always pitched my tent somewhere off the trail by myself.
Got it.
So one afternoon, actually, I had been with a whole bunch of helicopter pilots
Mm-hmm.
that were out doing a weekend thing, and I hung out with them. We talked about war stories. I got some of that. It's in the book. And I knew the weather was getting bad. I looked at the map, and it says Fault Gap. Well, a gap is the lowest spot between two mountains, right? And so I thought, well, I'm just going to go there. Because usually if it's a gap, it means there's a wide enough place to put a tent.
Sure.
I walk there, I get to it. There's no gap. I'm on a ridge that's like between 12 and 20 feet wide and literally drops straight down on both sides, hundreds of feet. I pitched my tent right in the middle of the trail. It's almost dark, right?
Yeah.
I take a leak and I'm standing on the edge and I'm looking down and I go, oh my God, there's a tree. I'm above a tree that's behind me.
Yeah. Oh
I'm like,
my.
well, I'm on a cliff here. Well, that night, horrific winds came up, and Xander, I thought I was done.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was done. It felt like I was in a body bag,
Mm-hmm.
and the tent, I could hear it. The wind sounded like freight trains coming up the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they would go to my left or to my right, and then every once in a while, one would be coming up, and it was coming right at me, and I'm like, and the wind is just unbelievable. I was praying to the God I used to not believe in, but the one that helped me get sober, that this
Mm-hmm.
is if I'm going to die tonight, well, okay, but I kind of like not to. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the next morning, and finally, right just before daylight, it let up, and I thought, oh my God, I survived another one, And every morning, I had a couple guys that I was working with in the program,
Mm-hmm.
recovery, and they would check in with me in the morning because I turn my phone on. Usually, at top mountain, you get some kind of reception.
Sure.
And I did that. And one of the guys said, "Are you all right?" And I go, "Yeah. Why?" And he said, "Well, I was watching the weather, and they said there was tornadoes where you are." I said, "Well, I didn't see any tornadoes. That's for darn sure. But I tell you what, I did see some awful winds." Oh my
Abs-
God. Well, that was the scariest night for sure.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. So how long did it take you and your brother you started in March. When did you finish your hike?
All right. It took 3 years.
Okay.
So in 2018, we did 1,400 and some miles. We were in New Jersey,
Okay.
and 100-degree day, 100% humidity. And when I met my brother, we had both lost 35 pounds.
Sure.
We looked like we did when we came back from Vietnam, just
Definitely.
emaciated, basically. And he looked at me and said, "You want to go home?" And I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
And I thought we were done. But then the next year he said, you want to finish it? And I said, okay, sure. And we went back out. Then I fell on Mount Wilcox in Massachusetts, what I was telling you about before.
Yeah.
And I did that 9 miles, slept in their tent that night. And the next morning I could not move.
Right.
The pain was so bad. So, and Ronnie was hurting pretty bad too, actually. I learned later when I read his journal, but he said, you want to go home? I said, yeah, I got to do something. So we went off the trail for a month.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just kind of waited, and then I started walking again, and so we decided to go back, but I had really damaged my hip bad,
Mm-hmm.
and, I actually did another 300 miles after that. We
Wow.
got into we got into the Whites. We had to go around Washington Mountain the first time because of the weather. They won't let you go on there if it's bad.
Sure.
And then we did Moosilauke, which is a huge mountain right after that. That was a all-day thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I did Wolf Mountain, and then we were gonna go back and do Washington, and we had our full packs loaded because that was gonna be at least 3 days.
Yeah.
We went about a half a mile, and I turned to Ronnie, and I started crying.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I can't do this
Mm-hmm.
anymore." I was in so much pain, Xander. It was just,
Sure.
and we're kinda tough guys, and, as a runner, you kinda get used to it.
Yeah, but there's also, I mean, I'd have to say, I'm not running really anymore, but what I can say, having been an athlete for most of my life in some way, shape, or form, especially as a marathoner, you understand what is, I'll say, good pain and bad
Yeah.
pain, right? And by doing as many marathons as you did, me training and stuff, when you're like, this isn't like, okay, I'm sore, but I can run through this or I can walk through this. And no, this is the bad pain. This is I have to stop because I'm only going to hurt myself more.
Yeah. So I
So,
only did 1,836 miles. But I ended up having a hip replacement.
yeah,
So I was actually in the hospital getting my hip replaced when my brother and his son Rick, who was 62 at that time, finished it.
okay,
So they
cool.
did finish it and without me, but that's okay.
Did you finish, or you got you
I
just
got the hip replacement. I hiked the Appalachian Trail with an artificial knee in my left knee,
yeah,
which I had been told would last 10,000 miles or 10 years, and I got it in 2006. This is 2018.
yeah,
And my right leg, I have nothing in it from a motorcycle accident.
right.
And so I limp because my right leg is a half an inch shorter than my left. So I like to brag that I was the limpiest man that ever walked the Appalachian Trail. My son,
Absolutely.
yeah, Ron's son has a video of me. I didn't even know he had this until I was writing the book and we were talking about it. And he showed me, and it shows me, and I thought, my God, that guy limps really bad. I didn't realize how bad it was. But I've been doing it my whole life, so
Definitely.
yeah. But no,
Definitely.
I wasn't able to do it. We did do every year. We've done a kind of a celebratory hike on the Appalachian Trail in the fall
Mhm.
in honor and memory of Edie, Ronnie's wife,
Mhm.
with the family. And I did a book launch at Loft Mountain last year.
Cool.
Yeah, in Loft Mountain's in the Shenandoah National Park,
Yeah.
right in the middle of Virginia. Right, and the Appalachian Trail goes right through it. Goes right through the Loft Mountain campground.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. So I have friends and neighbors, or my family and friends there. That was a good time.
That
So
is good.
yeah. No, it was an epic journey for sure. It was the most.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, really yay for you and your brother. I hope when he got done that he had perhaps found in all those thousands of miles some of the healing that he may have been looking for.
Yeah, he did, and that's in the book. And I also described how I recovered from my disease of alcoholism in the book. Every other chapter is about those types of things.
Definitely.
There's a lot of funny things that happened in there.
Of
Uh,
course there are.
oh my God, here's a funny one for you.
All
So
righty.
we were in Virginia. It was in June of 2018, and I'm hiking up Hogback Mountain. And I left early as always. And of course, by then things start to spread out. And you'll see, I didn't see near as many hikers as Ronnie did because I'm going north like everybody else. Well, he's going south. He's running into a whole bunch of people. But anyway,
Exactly.
so I'm hiking up Hogback Mountain and I hear somebody behind me and I stop because they're faster than me. I'm going to pull over and let them go by, right?
Definitely.
I turn around. There's a guy by the name, his trail name is Growler.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a mountain man. He's great,
Mm-hmm.
tough, probably 35-year-old, full beard,
Yeah.
big brawny guy. And his lady is with him and another lady that's somehow hooked up with him. And they're bare naked.
Well, now.
And I'm kind of like shaking my head, and Growler goes, you didn't get the memo. It's naked day on the Appalachian Trail. You're not supposed to wear any clothes. And I said, well, I'm going to do you all a favor.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I pulled aside. They went by me. Now they're walking in front of me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you got to picture this. But
I'm picturing it there, Rand. Yeah.
here they are, naked day. They're walking up Hogback Mountain, and Growler's in the back.
That is not okay.
So I'm walking. I just kind of stopped. I think I might have sat down longer or something. I'm going to wait.
I'm going to let them get a little up the trail from me. Absolutely.
Get out of my sight because I really didn't want to look at his derriere for the rest of the day.
I can appreciate that, Rand. So what was your trail name?
Rambo.
Ah, okay.
Rambo. Ronnie picked that name. Yeah.
Cool.
His name was Attitude Indicator. He became a commercial pilot.
Yeah.
An attitude indicator is an instrument on a pilot shell. See what position. And there's a funny thing about the name too. I record all the names of the people that I talked to during the day, and I put them in my journal. So I've got a lot of trail names in the book because
Sure.
they're kind of interesting.
Sure.
Well, we were in the Whites. And there's nobody around by now. It's and I ran into a couple guys that day that were hiking with their ladies, whatever, and twice at least I'd say, "Hey, my name's Rambo. What's yours?" And reach out my hand. They go, "Oh, I ran into your brother. Can I have your picture taken with you?" And they'd put their arm around me. The women would kind of like stand back, and they go, "I thought you'd be bigger." I go, "What?" So anyway, this happened twice that day, right?
Oh,
So that
wow.
night, Ron and I are exhausted. We didn't usually talk too much, and I was thinking about it. I said, "Bro, you been talking to people on the trail?" He said, "Yeah, I'm friendly." I said, "Well, what are you telling them?" And I knew he was covering something up just because he's kind of
Yeah.
looking down. I go, "What are you saying, bro?" And he says, "Well, I'm telling them," because we're both Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
"I'm telling them that you are the guy the actual guy they wrote the movie Rambo about." I said, "You gotta be kidding me, Ron. You're gonna get me killed."
Oh, no.
Got to fight with Rambo.
Oh, no.
I'm
Well,
a guy,
good story.
Yeah, it was funny. But yeah, there's a lot of funny stories, and there really is.
That's great. So, Rand, where can people find your book?
It's on Amazon. You can go to my website, randtimmerman.com. Just my name, randtimmerman.com. I'm not doing the internet, the social stuff very much.
That's totally fine, Rand. Not a problem.
Yeah, I'm not, but no, they can get there. Amazon, thrift books, pretty much all of the bookstores.
I got it. Absolutely.
If they put a spiritual passage in there, it'll pop up, or my name, as you know. I'm sure you know
Right.
all that.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Truly an epic journey and epic stories. So much fun talking to you.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm hoping people are inspired by the book and by this adventure that we had. Not because I don't want people thinking that they can go out and do this, but I'm hoping, I know that from feedback I've been getting that some people who are dealing with really severe difficulties like addiction.
Yeah.
Have found the story and my recovery inspiring to the point where they, made changes.
Sure.
Or older people who think, all my friends seem to be like dad or sitting on the couch waiting, you don't have to be like that. That's the whole point. That's the point of your program, right?
Absolutely. And look, Rand, I'll tell you, my mom is 85 years old, just turned 85 in June. And she was in May, she was down in the Pantanal in Brazil, which is the world's largest wetlands, on a safari. And her attitude is, look, I may not be able to walk as well as I used to. It may take a little longer, but as long as I'm able, I'm getting out there and doing stuff, because she does realize at some point it's not possible. But she's like, today is not the day. It is possible. And I'm getting out there. And I take great inspiration from you and my mom and other people who say, age is literally a state of mind. If you believe you're old, then you'll act old. If you're like, sorry, but the number for you, 80. I got to imagine that you're sort of like, I kind of find it hard to believe that I'm 80. Doesn't seem possible. I feel really good,
Yeah.
So
yeah. Use it or lose it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, kudos to your mom. I like that spirit. That's the kind of spirit we want to engender in people, that the more we push ourselves to do these things and have epic journeys, the longer we'll be able to do it.
Absolutely.
If we don't, we won't. That's it.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming to join me today.
Thank you.
I want to remind everyone, if you're ready to begin your epic journey, go to epicbegins.com. And remember that epic choices lead to the epic life that you want.
Get your gift copy of the award-winning book Epic Begins with One Step Forward at epicbegins.com. That's a wrap on this episode of Epic Begins with One Step Forward with your host, Xander Sprague, best-selling author, internationally acclaimed public speaker, and licensed professional clinical counselor. To make your next conference or event epic, send an email to Xander at zander@epicbegins.com. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Remember, epic choices, epic life.